beloved by our Maker, just as we are, on the path with all of those rocks in the middle of the path, absolutely cherished by the Infinite One, who indwells each and every one of us. And on this beautiful resurrection morning, the morning when we are reminded that a new beginning is available with every breath, it is so easy to be reminded of that because of the spring, the beautiful flowers, the light shining from each other's faces, that feeling within that cannot be denied, that the past is gone, the future is unfolding with infinite goodness, based on the happy, truthful, beautiful thoughts that we think, that we speak, that we share, and that we act upon. Creating the world that wants to be born. Here we are this morning, on the morning of rebirth. I give my thanks for this absolute knowing and all of those blossoms in each and every heart coming forth in full bloom. I give my thanks and place this now into the divine law so that it may be made so in perfect ways for each and every beloved one. And so it is. Amen. Please welcome Suzanne Baldwin, Bodhi Sechko, and the wonderful band.
I searched around far and wide for the truth that I could feel inside of temples and churches of stone. I looked desperately for a place I could call home, and everywhere I turned, the message was loud and clear that the truth I searched so hard to find was not out there but here in me. With God is my devotion. Every space is filled with God. Neither doubt nor fear can find a place in me. With God is my devotion. I'm sure of who I am. I'm standing strong, filled with grace. I live the master plan. confess. I pray to live this life in God, it's so, so real. I finally found the truth that sets me free. Now I am the light that shines so bright.
Do you want to know the way?
Oh yes.
Do you want to know the way?
The way in is the way out.
Do you want to know the way?
Oh yes.
Do you want to know the way?
The way in is the way out.
Do you want to know the way?
Oh yes.
Do you want to know the way?
The way in is the way out.
Do you want to know the way?
Oh yes. Do you want to know the way? The way in is the way out. With God as my devotion, every space is filled with God. Neither doubt nor fear can find a place in me. With God as my devotion, I'm sure of who I am. I'm standing strong, filled with grace. I live the master plan. Oh, I live to be the message that I long to hear. I want to be the way that I'm looking for. I need to shine the light that I want to see. I pray to live this life in God, it's so, so real. I finally found the truth that sets me free. Now I am the light. Now I am the light. Yes, I am the light. And you are the light. Yes, I am the light. Let's everybody walk the light. Yes, I am the light. Let's walk together in the light. Yes, I am the light. Let's everybody shine the light. Yes, I am the light. Oh, that shines so bright. Do you want to know the way? Oh, yeah.
Do you want to know the way?
The way in is the way out.
Do you want to know the way?
Do ya, do ya, do ya?
Do you want to know the way?
The way in is the way out. Do you want to know the way? Oh yeah.
Do you want to know the way?
The way in is the way out.
Do you want to know the way? Do you want to know the way? Suzanne Baldwin, Joe Munch, Robin Zickel, Rick Wall.
Thank you so much. I want to do something with empty chairs. Ushers, watch this. If you have an empty chair near you, would you hold your hand up really high? Okay, there's plenty of chairs, so just keep sending people this way. And welcome to those of you who just came. Happy Easter. Marilyn's here to do the announcements.
Happy Easter. Well, we always start everything that we do with gratitude. And so I want to give thanks and sincere appreciation to all the people who contributed to today's celebration. All of you, just raise your hand if you brought food or if you helped set up or if you had any look at that. Thank you. Also, most profoundly, I want to give thanks for our founder, Dr. Lloyd George Tupper, because we are here because of his dream. Thank you, Dr. Lloyd. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for saying yes to your dream. Now I would like you to join me, please, putting your heart here and blessing the child within as we bless these children over here as they go about to have their Easter preparations for the celebration later and for their lessons today. Thank you. So, everyone is invited to celebrate after service as well as celebrating during service with us. We have a fabulous feast, and everyone is invited to stay, enjoy the hat contest, Easter basket raffles, auction, thank you very much, and brunch. Peter Canova is coming next Sunday. Peter will weave his amazing research into the divine feminine, early Christianity, secret teachings of Jesus, quantum physics, and more. There's a flyer here. Please take one from the back table and put it up near you on a bulletin board. And please come next Sunday and enjoy Peter Canova with us. Our Vice President, Reverend Sarah Hargrave, has a new program that it will be starting. It's called Helping Each Other Succeed. It will be after service. It will take place after service on April 27th. And for more details, check that bulletin of yours. It's full of all kinds of information. And sacred travel. If you are interested in joining Reverend Karyl and members of your spiritual family on one or both journeys this summer, one is in Greece in June, and the other one is going to Scotland in August. See Reverend Karyl. And as I said, there's so much more in your bulletin, so take a look. And if you are here for the very first time, I hope that you feel like you have come home. We see you and we recognize you for the divine spiritual emanation that you are. Thank you. And now for our very own priestess of possibility, Reverend Karyl Huntley.
Well, as is our custom on Easter Sunday, you get two talks, one from me and one from our beloved founder, Reverend Lloyd. So for me, I just want to wish you an amazing Easter, because this is the day we celebrate new beginnings in the world and in our life. I like to think of Easter as sort of a divine reset button, where you can just start again. How fabulous is that? No matter what suffering, what pain, what forgotten lessons are in your life right now, you can just say, this is Easter, and I have a new beginning. It's a fresh start. It's letting go of the old. It's another chance to live a positive, powerful life for yourself and for the world. And it's also the time of year that all of nature reminds us that this is the absolute truth. I mean, this altar that Galia did for us, is that it just screams new beginnings. And that's exactly the energy that is in each one of our lives. So, every religion actually has miracle stories that are retold in the spring, because nature is in her miracle mode of bringing forth new beginnings. The word today is restore. And this is your opportunity and my opportunity to restore all good feelings, restore that great positive energy within us, and restore that new beginning that wants to be born in you because you're here. So there was a time in my life, a short time, when I was one of those people that only went to church on Easter. It was a long time ago. I was like 8, 9, 10. It was before Science of Mind came to Tucson, where we lived, and it was before I joined the Catalina Methodist Choir. But there were some years that I only went to church on Easter, and so that consciousness has stayed with me, because what I feel like I want to do every single Easter is say something so important that lands so squarely in your heart that it would last you the whole year. I know no one here is like that. But if you were, I want to say something that is so beneficial that it will last you till next Easter. So I want to communicate with you the essence of spiritual benefit. The essence of spiritual benefit. What is the most beneficial idea or practice in all of spirituality? Because we need to take that into us, integrate that into our lives, and then give it back again. Because we are the hands and the heart and the feet and the voice of the infinite presence on earth. And that's what the title of this talk means. The whole of creation listens for our voice. The whole of creation listens for our voice, the voice of truth. And that was inspired by one of my very favorite quotes that I have combined into this little book. Bookstore's not here today, but you can get it next week. On page 53 is a wonderful verse from Romans. That's Paul's letter to the Christians in Rome in the early time of the church, where he writes, "The whole of creation is on tiptoe to see the wonderful sight of the sons and daughters of God coming into their own." Let me read that again, because this is about you and me. The whole of creation is on tiptoe to see the wonderful sight of the sons and daughters of God coming into their own. So the essence of spiritual benefit is actually messages that come to us from every single spiritual tradition, and they're the same. They're the same messages. And it's so great because whether you're a Buddhist, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian, whether you're, any combination, and ones that I haven't named, the messages really are the same. And that is what our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, did, reading widely in all wisdom traditions and coming up with what, as it says in the Bhagavad Gita, "I am in every religion as a thread through a string of pearls." I am in every religion as a thread through a string of pearls. So our founder, Ernest Holmes, wrote a wonderful essay called What I Believe, and it has been in our movement for over 50 years as What We Believe. And so in order to show you exactly what I mean by how the truths of religious science are also the truths in every religion, and you cannot get away from them, we have precious readers, 4 practitioners that have been practitioners a long, long time. Would you please welcome Janet Ryan, Marilyn Letzos, Gail Durkin, and Posey Lyon.
We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed in its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. From the Sikh spiritual tradition, there is but one God whose name is true. He is the Creator, immortal, unborn, self-existent.
We believe in the incarnation of the Spirit in us, and that all people are incarnations of the one Spirit. From the First Nations spiritual tradition, Now, talking God, with your feet I walk. For me, your mind thinks. Your voice speaks for me. Beauty is above. Beauty is before me, and beauty is behind me. Above and below me hovers the beautiful. I am surrounded by it. I am immersed in it.
We believe in the internality of the immortality and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding. From the Hindu spiritual tradition, the individual soul is nothing else in essence than the universal soul.
We believe that heaven is within us and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. From the Christian spiritual tradition, the kingdom of God cometh not with observation, neither shall they say, Lo here, or lo there. For behold, the kingdom of God is within you.
We believe the ultimate goal of life is to be a complete freedom from all discord of any nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. From the Taoist spiritual tradition, love is sure to be victorious even in battle, and firmly to maintain its ground. Heaven will save its possessor by his love protecting him.
We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. From the Sufi spiritual tradition, Rumi, the living word of pure consciousness, you are that. The reflection of the king's face, you are that. There is nothing outside yourself. Look within. Everything you want is there. You are that.
We believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. From Confucius, what the undeveloped man seeks is outside. What the advanced man seeks is within himself.
We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. From the Buddhist tradition, it is nature's rule that as we sow, we shall reap.
We believe in the healing of the sick through the power of this mind. We believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind. From the goddess spiritual tradition, and you who seek to know me, know that the seeking and the yearning will avail you not unless you know the mystery. For if that which you seek you will not find within yourself, you will never find it without.
We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of all life. From the Jewish spiritual tradition, love is the beginning and the end of the Torah.
We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God. From the pagan tradition, Starhawk, Earth Mother, Star Mother, you who are called by 1,000 names, may all remember we are cells in your body and dance together. Within us, you dance forever.
Thank you. So, the essence of spiritual benefit, as we hear from our own tradition and every single other one, says that there is one divine life and we are all a part of it. That means there's no us and them. And that means that as the whole of creation listens for your voice, when you can say that in words and in actions, it's only us here. You become a force for good in the world that is waiting to be born. A second aspect of the essence of spiritual benefit, I think, is that we are living the divine life and will forever. There is no death. You're here forever. You will let go of this body, but the truth that you are one with life and one with God and one with each other goes on after you let go of the body. And so we are still one with all of those that we love. Lloyd and I talk about the people in this community who have come and gone and passed into the next realm. They're here right now. They're here right now. And then lastly, I think the essence of spiritual benefit is to really know that our thoughts are creative and that it is done unto us as we believe. And we're not the only ones that know this, but sometimes it seems like nobody knows this. That what you say makes itself so in your life and in the world. And so when I talk about one life, that life is God's life, that life is our life now and forever, and that our thoughts are creative, it sounds like the same message that I give every single Sunday, and you know what? It is. But what if on this Easter we use that divine reset button and we said, okay, I said this before, but now I really, really mean it. I really mean it. I am going to live by the spiritual truth that I believe in. I am going to live like there's only us out there. I'm going to live like I live forever. And I am going to speak like what I speak makes a difference in the world for myself and for others. And if we do that, if we use this spiritual reset button, we will be living the essence of spiritual benefit that runs through every single spiritual tradition. Oh, thank you, Bill. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, he agreed with me profoundly. Well, heck, I think that's all I need to say. So I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to bring up your founding minister, celebrating with us today the 30th birthday of the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living and his 46th anniversary in the science of mind. Please welcome Reverend Dr. Lloyd George Tupper.
Good morning. My name is Lloyd Tupper, and I am a practicing religious scientist. And it was 46 years ago today that I went to my first religious science celebration in all places, Las Vegas, Nevada. I placed a bet. I put it on the altar. Oh, thank you. I feel like Bishop Sheehan. I have an angel that looks out for me here. And I have been in this movement all these years with the absolute conviction that what was said here this morning in what we believe is in fact the eternal truth, that inherently, all of us believe at some level. And all that we do in coming together as a group like this is simply to remind you of what subconsciously you already know. So what we do is we prime your cosmic pump. And like an artesian well, when you are ready, that truth comes up and that spirit whispers in your ear, "Thou art my beloved son or daughter, in whom I am well pleased." But then we think it's over. But then it continues, and it says, "Now go forth and heal the people, for the power is vested in thee." You, me, all of us. I'm not going to give you a lecture today, which I love doing, of course, but I thought since it is the birthday of the church, I'd give you a little retrospective. I always have to check with Karyl to make sure I use the right word. On how this church really came into being. And it was probably back in somewhere in 1945. I was born in this incarnation in the year 1939. I know, you can say, "Oh my God, he's not telling the truth." But I did come into this incarnation, and I often say we're never born and we will never die, which Karyl has said, and we will never lose our glasses. Here they are. Thank you. Nothing is lost in the universe. I went to a parochial school. I was born a Roman Catholic, and I was schooled in my primary school called St. Mary's, just outside of Boston. And I had what I think at that time was a calling, because whenever the period of studying the catechism or the Bible came about in our daily lesson, I was entranced. And so what I would do is I would hear something, and I would go home, and my mother, who was a devout Catholic, would not only explain what I had read in the Bible, but she would then make me go and get the Bible. And sometimes it wasn't the Judeo-Christian Bible, it was the Bible written by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And so this one day back then, I said to my mother, is there only one Bible? I mean, do other people write Bibles? And she said, "Oh, yes, there are many world Bibles. In fact, if you get this, I want you to read something." So I went and got this something that I could read, and it was as follows, by Emerson. "The world is young. The former great men and women call to us affectionately. We too must write Bibles to unite again the heavens and the earthly world. The secret of genius is to suffer no fiction to exist for us, to realize all that we know in the high refinement of modern life, in arts, in sciences, in books, in men and women, to exact good faith, reality, and a purpose, and first, last, midst, and without end, to honor every truth by use." Ralph Waldo Emerson. This is how I started coming into religious science, because my mother, although a devout Catholic, was for the most part deaf through her hearing, but so she was an avid reader, and she read a book a day. One book every night. Until she finished it, she wouldn't put it down. And she read Emerson, and she read Thoreau, and of course we lived under the umbrella of Mary Baker Eddy, and everybody was somehow affected by what that woman believed in, even though maybe we were practicing a different faith. So then, one day, something happened at school, and we were told that we could, I'm paraphrasing now, the nun told us this, that whatever we set our heart to, we could create. We could create a heaven on earth, or we could create a living hell. And so, of course, I went back to my mother and I said, first of all, I don't want to create a hell. And she said, well, you can create a heaven. And how do you create a heaven? By the way you think. And she said, you think good thoughts, and good thoughts will produce good results. So she made me go and get a book by Henry David Thoreau. And this is what she read to me. There is a purpose to all this. I'll get up to the good part in a minute. That's the gossip. By Henry David Thoreau at Walden. I was only born about 4 miles from Walden, by the way. I got the Shakti from the lake. Morning is when I am awake, and there is a dawn in me. We must learn to reawaken and keep ourselves awake, not by mechanical aids, but by an infinite, get this, expectation of the dawn, which does not forsake us in our soundest sleep. I know of no more encouraging fact than the unquestionable ability of man and woman to elevate their life by conscious endeavor, i.e., speaking forth as that voice which not only remakes but regenerates and makes new the beauty of God that is born in the temple that is you. I added that part, by the way. Thoreau didn't say that. He goes on, it is something to be able to paint a particular picture or to carve a statue and so to make a few objects beautiful. But it is far more glorious to carve and paint, here we go, the very atmosphere and medium through which we look, for to affect the quality of the day. That is the highest of arts. Now, I've read this almost every ministerial graduation that I was invited to as Dean of the Holmes Institute. And I've given out thousands of copies of it. And I wanted to read it today because I realized as I did a retrospective, I don't have to say what we believe anymore because you did it. Thank you. And I'm very conscious of the time. But I wanted to read it to you because I wanted you to see how this church in embryo came into being. So the next thing that I was affected by is something that our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said. And as Reverend Karyl said, my first introduction to, as a truth student, as a student of truth, was in the United Church of Religious Science, where I went 46 years ago today on Easter Sunday morning. And I attribute this saying to my dear friend Jerry Shepherd, whom most of you know, and whom I will introduce in a minute, because it's his fault that I'm here. But I thought it was him, and it may not have been him. It may have been some other misguided soul that I asked or said, I cannot go. He said to me, Jerry said to me, I want you to go to church with me on Easter Sunday. Now, Jerry was a Protestant then, and obviously I was a devout Catholic, and I didn't know whether or not that was going to work. But, and I'm being facetious, by the way, but I thought to him, well, I can't go to a Protestant church. Us Catholics, recovering Catholics or whatever, know the story that when a Catholic went to a Protestant church, they were doomed and would go directly to hell. So I made that very pontificate statement. I can't go because if I did, I'd go directly to hell. And I thought it was Jerry, and it might have been Jerry, and he might be just being covert, saying he didn't say it. But the person said, well, judging from where I see you living, you won't have far to go. And I call that the divine hook. So I sat through that service with one of our Episcopalian converts, Dr. Barclay Johnson, who was one of the great, great orators that I'd ever heard. And he spoke and gave the Sunday morning lecture. And when he leaned forward, as I'm about to do, and try not to push the lectern over, and leaned forward like this with his black robes. We were all into very high dress then. And he leaned over, and I swear to God, he looked at me, because I was right in the first row, naturally with my arms folded like so many people do. Okay, try to fix me. And he said, now mind you, we've just had Mighty Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and now the resurrection on Sunday. And he said, in God there is no death. And I thought, oh dear God, I'm in a cult. I have got to get out of here quick. But of course I was sitting beside my friend Jerry, and I thought, he's gone through a lot of effort and trouble to get me here. I'm going to sit through it. So an hour later, after sitting through that, at the end of that lecture, he read something by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, and I'd like to read it to you. He said, I am the truth. Be yourself today, regardless of what happened yesterday. And God, I was trying to forget the past then. Can anybody relate to that? Oh, we are in bondage only to a false sense of self. We are in bondage because we judge the possibility of the future by the limitations of the past. We are in bondage because we do not realize that He maketh all things new. That was my resurrection. At the time, I was in a very nasty lawsuit with a very, very wonderful man who was obviously deranged about the qualities of goodness that existed in me. And that's known as a living hell. Anyhow, as we got up, Jerry and I got up to leave this little church in Las Vegas, I said to him, I am going to become a minister in this movement. I have been called. And that was the day. That was the day, 46 years ago. I immediately arranged, because I found out they were giving the first-year class in Phoenix, Arizona, and at that time it was 30 weeks, Science Mind 1. I moved to Phoenix, and I enrolled in that September class. And that was the beginning of my unfoldment in religious science. And I do believe it was the beginning of the birth of this church. Because as Marilyn said, I always had the seed in me. And then, of course, I started telling people, including my mother, that I was in fact going to become a minister in this new, wonderful, philosophical religion called religious science or science of mind. And people were, throwing darts at me, and they were saying I was a heathen, and that I was, all those wonderful uplifting remarks that people can make. And then I came across this statement, and I have a picture of this person with this statement above my desk at my office where I do my spiritual counseling. And it says, great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. Albert Einstein. Then I got another quote as I got further into this movement by a very powerful woman, not just Karyl or Francine. And this one went like this: most people are ill-made and weak-brained. Emma Curtis Hopkins. So I was getting some support along the way. How are we doing on time? 7 minutes, okay. But then, and this is what Karyl was referring to earlier, then I got introduced I came in 67. My first class was in September of 67. And then I took my first practitioner class in 1970. And at the end of that class, our teacher introduced us to a man that actually affected me more than any other teacher up to that point. And his name was George Thomas Trower. And now this church is really coming of age. And here's what he said. Oh, listen to this. This is so great. And all of you who are in Francine's first year class, I want you to listen to this. Because if you don't, you will go to hell. Did I say it right? Okay, I'm sorry. That Catholic stuff just comes over me sometimes. All right, here it is. The effort of nature, i.e., the creative process, has always been upwards from the time when only the lowest forms of life peopled the globe. And it has now accumulated in the production of a being with a mind capable of abstract reasoning and a brain fitted to be the physical instrument of such a mind. Oh God, here it comes. At this stage, the all-creating life principle reproduces itself in the form capable of recognizing the working of the evolutionary law and the unity and continuity of purpose running through the whole progression until now indicates beyond a doubt, oh, here it comes, that the place of such a being in the universal scheme must be to introduce the operation of that factor which up to this point has been conspicuous by its absence. Here comes the creation of treatment. That factor, namely, of intelligent individual volition. So when you ask the question, which we all do, who am I? What am I? Why am I? You answer this question that Karyl put up. You push the restart button and you say, I, who am I? I am the embodiment of the life divine. I was never born and I can never die. I have incarnated in this human form in the likeness of that which is called God. And I have its mind to image forth that which I believe within me. It inspires me to speak. For the words that I speak are not of myself, but that which lives within me, which is the presence of God, of which I am and I express. My purpose is to speak its word, not mine, its word, because the universal cannot become the individual, but the individual can and must personalize the universal in order for life to continue to unfold and, as Ernest calls it, reawaken to the divinity of our true nature. So you're no worm of the dust, as some of our wonderful evangelical misguided ministers might have you think. You are a power to be reckoned with. I always say, we don't claim that we're better than anyone else, but by God, we're different. And it's in that differentness that this community was born. I believe from all the things that my mom taught me, all the classes that I took, all the experiences I've had, some good, some not so good, the far countries that I have gone to, and I have come home from, and I've gone out there again. I'm a slow learner sometimes. I have to go, waddle with the pigs. And I have come back again, but I have always known when I think and I think on these things, Lloyd, you are the beloved Son of God. God has incarnated in you as Spirit, and you are that Spirit. And you must teach this truth to the multitudes. And let me tell you, folks, we've had tens of thousands of people go through here, the multitudes. And I'm going to close now because Karyl is watching that clock. But, let's see, okay. I just want to say, I'm going to pass a picture around so that you can share this. Here it is. This was my staff when we first started in April of 1983. This is this movement that you're part of now, our church, with that entire staff that we founded out at the Masonic Temple on 19th Avenue. It was an incredible period. And I'm going to just read this from Ernest, and then I'm going to ask Karyl to do what she did out there every Sunday. I would write a treatment or a study principle. Karyl would come out and looking radiant in her yellow dress that she bought at Bloomingdale's. I was with her. Actually, Robert was with you. I wasn't with you. You want to read it or not? All right. Okay. Oh. Okay. All right. I wanted to read one more thing and then I'm finished. I don't think I'll read anymore. I think I'll just close. Let me just say this about that. You're part of a wonderful lineage. You're part of an incredible, profound revelation of truth that nobody can deny. And the only way that you will come unto that and come into that is that if you speak the word. You are born, it says in Scripture, in the Judeo-Christian Bible, in the image and likeness of God, meaning that you should produce through that word, the only originating word, which was with God and is God, and God is with you. So when you allow yourself to set your personality aside and say, lead me, inspire me, let me speak your word, you are the individualization of God, bringing forth God on this plane of life. And that is the purpose for your incarnation. And when you do not do that, you do die daily and you wither, because the artistry in you is waiting for you to go before that canvas of life. And thanks to the science of mind, which I always say, you no longer have to paint by numbers. You paint by divine inspiration. And the picture is so inspiring and so beautiful that it elevates all people into that arisen state in which they all hear that sweet voice. This is my beloved, in whom I am well pleased. Good morning. Was it too long? Thank you. Thank you.
So there's just a handful of you that were with us when we were in the city. And what Lloyd was referring to that we wrote together was he would write an essay that was essentially his Sunday message, and then I would rewrite it, and hopefully, you know, both of our wisdom was in it, and then he let me read it on Sunday. So it was, I mean, if you think that he is dense and concentrated, now, I mean, just think of him talking and then me saying the same thing in an essay format. But these were so amazing that I think we ought to publish them. I think we ought to put them together in a book and publish them. And so you all can know the true lineage from which you come. And I just want to say that I am so unbelievably proud and honored to have shared more of my life with this man than any other man.
All right.
It's my understanding that this song was written for Karyl's installation at this church by Melissa Felipe.
Did you notice the squirrels perking up to watch? Do you feel the sky bending down to hear all the leaves on the trees looking over to see, all holding their breath? The whole of creation is standing on tiptoe to see the wonderful sight of the children of God coming into our own. Now is the time. Do you see the sun rising just to be here? Birds are flying high just to be a part. I can hear the drums of the ancient winds announcing our birth. The whole of creation is standing on tiptoe to see the wonderful sight of the children of God coming into our own. Now is the time. Now in a world of peace, this is our moment in time. The whole world is waiting for you and me right here and right now. Is standing on tiptoe to see the wonderful sight of the children of God coming into our own. Now is the time. The whole of creation is standing on tiptoe.
Is that the best? That is so fabulous. That
She
is
always keeps us on tiptoe, Karyl. We have songs already than 3 days before.
real.
Do
Yeah, I
this one
said, you
instead.
know what? If you guys haven't decided on something, this was Tuesday. I got a song for you, and you nailed it. Now is the time. The whole world is waiting for us to share our tithes and offerings. And so, as you prepare these, just know that this goes to your highest vision of what this community has been, is now, and will be. And so would the ushers please come forward? And as you prepare your tithes and offerings, just hold that next to your heart and let me bless this offering with you. The infinite presence is outpictured in all that we hold dear. And as we prepare to give that activity that God always does, gives and gives and gives, the Infinite One knows itself in us as we give from our heart, and our gift is then multiplied. It is pressed down and it overflows what we thought it was. It is more powerful, it is bigger, it is more far-reaching than the mere dollars that we have written on our check or put in the basket. It is our life essence that we give to this philosophy, this center that we love, our friendships here, and the way that it transforms lives for the better. This is a powerful act we do now. And so with generosity and gratitude at the same time, we give. And so it is. Would the ushers please receive the gifts?
I belong to the morning. I belong to the dawn. I belong to the morning. I belong to the dawn. I belong to the morning. I belong to the dawn. I belong to the morning. I belong to the dawn. My way was dark and the road was long. Will you come light the path I'm on? The darkness parted with the light of spring. Spirit, I'm yours. In you I sing. I belong to the morning. I belong to the dawn. I belong to the morning. I belong to the dawn.
Sing it out.
I belong to the morning. I belong to the dawn. I belong to the morning. I belong to the dawn.
And so I am honored and privileged and grateful to accept this offering and bless it. May the sweet and dear hearts that gave all of this expand and come alive in this community and beyond. And may the power of this offering deepen all that we do here so that we may be an even greater power for good. And so it is. Amen. Okay, my darlings, this now becomes a bit more complex than most Sundays. So this is what is going to happen. The teenagers have hidden the eggs. The little ones are going out to find the eggs. If you are a parent of a little one, you may quietly go now to take pictures of the egg hunt. Now for the rest of us, if we could fold up about half of the chairs in these two sections, and there will be chair dollies to put them on, because what we're going to do is put tables out to eat. Of course, the sun is shining now. You remember how it was this morning, pouring down rain?
Oh, yeah.
So you can take your food outside, you can eat inside. There will be a place for you to eat inside, however. And the food is coming out right now. Thank you all for the food. Everybody's going to put their hats on that doesn't already have their hats on. And the baskets are going to be ready for bidding. And I would like to thank Sue Ruda, who is in charge of this whole wonderful party. I'd like You be sure to tell her. You tell her we thanked her, Ron. Okay. And Deborah Welsh and Tom Merrill are in the kitchen. Denise Johnson is in charge of the baskets. And Franz Viana is the judge extraordinaire of the hats. And so now, I think that's all the announcements. Please stay, have a wonderful celebration with us. Let me hug each and every one of you. That might be a bit much, but I'm going to give it my best. And I'm going to ask Lisa, beloved Lisa, to come and pray us out now.
All right. Hey, Lisa.
Oh, what a celebration. So let's just go back within. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Settling into that place where this message of today's service rings so loudly, so beautifully. I incorporate it into my cells. It is my truth. And so I know that the Spirit has been spoken here today. The movement of the beloved has been present, from how the chairs were set up, how people were greeted, the bulletins spread out, the prayers that go up, every word spoken so beautifully, beautifully patterned in God. I know the activity of Spirit has been working here today. And I know that the message in my heart carries me through the week to come. So I bless all who hear this word today. I bless everyone within the sound of my voice. I bless the activity of Spirit that has happened here today. I am so grateful for it, and I let it be. And so it is.
Please come back next Sunday for Peter Canova, who is absolutely amazing. And now, if you would stand for our affirmation and closing song. And if you can read through the little pinwheels here, you'll be just fine. The whole of creation awaits my acceptance of my magnificence as a divine incarnation of the one life of the infinite. My magnificence seeds the universe with new blessings that are mine alone to give. I restore myself with this truth.
To be
bass and drum.